What's up, everybody? Welcome to the live stream here. We are going to be covering the Pennzoil 400. I'm here with Dave and Luke. And what's up, guys? How are you guys doing? Are you looking forward to the race? Dave, how are you doing? You looking forward to the race today?
Oh, absolutely. It's going to be a fun race to watch. We had the Truck Series and the Xfinity Series already here at Vegas this weekend, and those races have been exciting. Truck race is always exciting no matter where they're at. But I think the Cup Series today is a chance to put on a really good race. We saw last year in this race, late caution threw everything into the garbage disposal, shuffled everything around and made everything crazy. I think we can, that could happen again today. We saw a lot of cautions in both the truck and the Xfinity race over the weekend, and I think it'll be a good race.
Yeah, I think so as well. How are you doing, Luke? You ready for it today?
I'm doing good. I'm excited for today's race. I'm not expecting as much attrition as the truck race or the Xfinity race, but all it takes is one late yellow at the end and things could get crazy. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'm hoping for a good race. Can't talk, but just want to remind you guys, you can sign up for the NASCAR content on Karma Media. Go to dfskarma.com/shop. Sign up for the NASCAR. You get the final thoughts cheat sheet, core plays and props, access to all the premium content, and there will be there's a free article on there as well. So go check that out. Lots of great stuff on there. So I guess we'll start with Dave here. Talk a little bit of lineup construction. How are you looking at the lineup construction this week? Are you looking at like a more stars and scrubs? Or are you looking at a more balanced build? What are you looking at?
Well, if you're talking DraftKings, I think they priced down Harvick so much. I think you're going to have it's kind of made it into more of a two dom lineup. You get your place differential in there. It's kind of more balanced. There's not really, you don't really have to load up top and then have to put in like 3 punts to make your lineup work this week. Vegas typically has about a 2 dominator a DFS lineup when we're looking at it. I think was it 1 year there was was it Logano? I think it was. He dominated a lot of the race, and then the dominator points are kind of spread out between like 2 or 3 guys or 3 or 4 guys. So I'm definitely going to be attacking a lot of 2 dom lineups in my 150 build today, and going from there.
So Luke, so Dave's talking about 2 dominators. I'm kind of with him there with 2. How are you approaching the strategy for this race? Are you looking at 2 dominators? Are you going 3? What are you looking at for this race for strategy?
I think it's very easy to get in 3 dominators because I think DraftKings underpriced a lot of guys that I think have potential to dominate, like William Byron at 8,300. He could go out and lead laps. Bowman is 8,900. He can lead laps. There's a lot of guys, Harvick, 9,700. There's a lot of guys that are underpriced, in my opinion, that could lead laps. So I think it's pretty easy to get a lineup that has 2 to 3 dominators. And then you obviously can target the place differential with guys like Amaral and DiBenedetto. But yeah, I think lineup construction it's pretty easy this week.
I agree. It's easy. I mean, you can fit a ton of these dominators in a lineup, and I think last week there weren't really many good value plays. I think there's a ton of value on this slate as well. So lineup construction is easy, at least for me. So we'll get into the hides here now. We'll start with the around 10K and up range. So we'll start with Luke. What are you looking at here for your favorite cash play?
Okay, so I mean, it has to be Kevin Harvick. I mean, DraftKings underpriced him. He's only 9,700. He's been great at the 1.5s last season. Leads a lot of laps. Usually unloads fast. He's starting on the pole, so he has the best chance to lead early. So there's a safe floor and a lot of upside. I think it does make sense to go underweight on him in tournaments because he's going to have a lot of ownership, and it's not a guarantee that he's going to lead laps from the start because someone might unload faster, like maybe the Hendrick cars or Truex, someone like that. So I think for cash games you play Harvick, but in tournaments I think you could be under the field on him.
Yeah, I mean, Kevin Harvick's a pretty good tournament play, or cash play, I'd say. He's going to be safe in a way, but like you said, he could get off him in tournaments just due to the fact that he's going to gain some ownership, and what happens if he does not, lead the majority of that first part of the race. So, Dave, what are you looking at for a cash play around this 10K and up range?
Yeah, I think you're right there with Harvick, and then I really love Ryan Blaney this week. I think he's gonna be uber popular. Starts 26th after the issues last week. He's really good at Vegas. He's got great track history, and he's a Penske car. Penske cars are good, and Fords are good at Vegas, and I think he provides you that safe floor that you're looking for in cash games starting 26, and he's got top 10, top 5 upside in that car.
Yeah, for me, Ryan Blaney is definitely a great cash play. So, Dave, do you think that Ryan Blaney could find the optimal lineup today without leading any laps?
If he's getting fastest laps, sure. I definitely think that, and I think he'll probably get fastest laps this week too. So I don't think he needs to lead. I think he needs to get some dominator points, but I think he get those through fastest laps.
Yeah, I was thinking, like, with the pricing this week, like, you can have 2 Dominators and a Ryan Blaney in the same lineup, no problem. So, yeah, I definitely think Blaney will be popular. So, as far as a tournament play up in this around high-tier range, so, Luke, what are you looking at for a tournament play?
For tournaments, I don't mind Martin Truex Jr. He's really expensive, so I think people will kind of, I think he'll have lower ownership than he should, because a lot of people are going to, target Blaney, Harvick, the Hendrick cars, so Chase. So he's expensive, but we've seen him dominate at some of these 1.5s last season, and I think starting 4th, if he unloads fast, he could get the lead early and score a lot of dominator points. And if Truex works and Harvick doesn't, that could be great for your lineup.
Yeah, I'm definitely with you there on Truex. How about you, Dave?
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there on Truex. I like him as a tournament play today. I think there's safer place for cash games, obviously. And you did mention Chase Elliott there. I like him. The one guy I want to mention though, and I think you got to look at him, and I think he might get overlooked being there right below Ryan Blaney and Chase Elliott. And I know Logano and Harvick are getting a lot of talk this week, but I like Brad Keselowski. Brad does really good here. If you look at, he's got 3 career wins here at Vegas. Last year he finished 7th and 13th. But before that, he had 3 straight top 3s. He's really good here. Starts 10th, so he's got he's got top 3, top 5 upside. Can be one of those dominators that we've talked about that are going to lead laps. So I think he's a good pivot off of someone like a Chase Elliott or someone like a Joey Logano or Kevin Harvick today.
I like it. So yeah, up in that top range, like we mentioned, Kevin Harvick starting on the pole, I think is a good cash play. Truex up there, Logano, I think is another great play. We didn't really talk much about Logano. Are you guys on Logano today?
Oh yeah.
I have a lot of Logano.
Okay, so I'll ask you this, Dave. So Kyle Busch, most expensive on the slate. Are we touching him today? Are we touching him?
I mean, in my 150 build, of course, I'll have a little bit of exposure to him. I just don't see the need for him today. I'll have my like I said, I'll have maybe 4 or 5 of those lineups just in case he decides he wants to show up at his home track and finally and do something. But at his price, he has to dominate. He has to get fastest laps led. He has to basically, I think, finish top 3 or win the race. There's just too much that has to happen for Kyle Busch to pay off. And I think you go way underweight on Kyle Busch today.
Yeah, I'm gonna have none, which is kind of scary. But he's gonna be so low owned, so we'll definitely see there. But he's not great here, and I think not having practice really affects Kyle Busch, and we've even seen it last year. We saw it last race. He's just not looking great. So we'll get into the mid range here, and we will start with Luke. What is your favorite cash play in this mid range?
For the mid tier, I like Eric Almirola. He's in good equipment, driving for Stewart Haas Racing. He's starting 28th after his wreck last weekend with Ryan Blaney. He offers a lot of place differential. He's usually consistent when it comes to running well. So I'm expecting him to be pretty fast. I think he could finish inside the top 10 and potentially top 5. So I think he's a very safe option that has plenty of upside as well for cash. So. I like Amarola.
I like it. How about you, Dave? How about your cash play?
Yeah, I think we're going to cover the two chalkiest plays in this range today. It's going to be Matt DiBenedetto starting 30th. Everyone's been burned by Matt DiBenedetto this year, and we're gonna go for it again. Let's see how this works out for us. If you look at it though, he finished second here. Obviously, with the first race last year with all that late caution, threw a lot of things into play. But then he came back in the fall and finished second again. So I like the upside of Matt DiBenedetto. I don't think he finishes second today. I'm looking more for like a top 12 finish for him today, maybe. He needs to start scoring some points. He's fallen way behind. Last year he pointed himself into the playoffs. I think he's almost at the point where he needs to win, and I think he's gonna, barring any mechanical or tire or accident or anything like that. I think he's a solid play today.
Yep, MBD and Almirola, very good cash plays, lots of plays differential there. So we'll get into our tournament plays, our GPP plays for this mid-tier range, starting with you, Luke. Who are you liking for a GPP play?
I love Alex Bowman today. I think he's going to go overlooked because he's priced between Eric Almirola and Matt DiBenedetto, which obviously they're both really good plays too because the place differential. But the thing that they don't have is dominator potential, and I think Bowman could be a potential dominator in this race. He doesn't have to do a ton because he's cheap. So if he goes out there, leads like 50 laps, gets some fast laps, he could pay off. He ran very good at the intermediates last season. He finished top 10 in his last 5 1.5s. So that's a good sign that they have a lot of speed at these tracks. So I think Bowman's a great option that has plenty of upside today.
Yeah, I think Bowman will be very, very low owned, and I think he has a lot of upside too. So I like that. How about you, Dave?
Yeah, I'm probably gonna dip a little bit, and this is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about tournaments. I do a 150 build, and I like Austin Dillon. I'm gonna have some exposure to him today. Just where he's at, he's right above those guys. Like in your 7K range, you got the Briscoe and Chastain and Jones and Bubba Wallace. I think Austin Dillon, he's shown that he started to show something last year, and then here in Vegas last spring he finished 4th. He's done decent at these types of tracks. I like him. I'm not sure I love him, but I'm going to have my exposure in tournaments to Austin Dillon, especially to pivot off some of those guys that will get a little more ownership that are right below him.
Yeah, I definitely think that Briscoe is going to carry some ownership. Chastain will carry some ownership. I think Bell will. Didn't really talk much about Bell, but Luke, are you on Christopher Bell this week? I think he's a little bit too cheap here at 7,700. In the number 20 car. Do you think there's upside with Christopher Bell here?
I think there's a lot of upside for Bell because we saw Eric Jones in situations where he would start in this position and everyone would be all over him at this price. So to me, it's the same thing with Bell, and he has a great crew chief with Adam Stevens. They've shown that they have a lot of speed this year. I know he struggled last week at Homestead, but Homestead's a difficult track, so I'm not blaming him for that. I think he could be a potential finish inside the top 5. I don't think he can dominate, but I think he'll be, lower owned. He's in about 20% of my lineups for my 150 builds, so I like him a lot.
I like it. Okay, so yeah, we'll move into the bottom tier here. We'll start with you, Dave. So what is your favorite cash play for this bottom tier?
Yeah, I love Cole Custer, and I think I'm going to be. I'm not the only one that's going to love Cole Custer today. I think he's going to be one of the. I think Luke and I were talking about this before the podcast. I think Custer's probably going to be the highest owned in this range. Starts 20th in the SHR equipment, the Sports. Again, he showed really good speed and was really good last week up until a tire issue right at the end of the race. I dropped him back. Starts 20th today. I think he's probably got, top 12, top 10 potential in this car. I really like Custer today. I'm going to be heavy on him. I know Luke is too. So yeah, I'm going Cole Custer in cash here.
Yeah, I like Custer a lot as well. I'm hopefully he's not too owned because I'm going to have a decent amount of him. How about you, Luke? What are you looking at for a cash play down on this bottom tier?
Before I get into that, with Custer, he was running inside the top 10 last week, but I think he ran out of fuel at the end, so he ended up finishing like 23rd, I think, which people
might either fuel or a tire. Yeah, I think. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was. I know he had an issue. That's all I remember.
I know he's
It's like,
but yeah, my favorite cash play probably in this range is probably Anthony Alfredo. He's like the cheapest driver that I would consider. I don't think he has a ton of upside, but I think he's a relatively safe option starting 27th. He ran fine at Homestead last week. You know, he like the rookies usually struggle, but I think he did okay for his first start at an intermediate. I think he could finish around the top 20, so I think he's a safe option for cash games, but I think for tournaments, I think there's better options.
Yeah, so Dave, another guy down here that I'm looking at a little bit, Corey LaJoie, starting at 33rd. You know, he's not been bad here. Average finish of 21.67 in his last 6 races. Are you going to have any LaJoie 6,300? I don't think there's a ton of upside, but I do think he can move up a little bit. Are you on LaJoie at all?
I mean, I'll have my tournament exposure to him. I'm not high on him today. He's more in a show me type thing with this new team with the Spire number 7 team. I don't mind taking a back seat on him and letting him burn me a couple weeks before I start jumping on board, especially with the options we got today. But yeah, I mean, there's a good floor to him. I think he's probably got top 25 potential today if everything goes right. This team's got to show me that everything's gonna go right.
Yeah, I feel like there's a good floor, but I'm worried about the upside for him. So Luke, another guy down here, Daniel Suarez. I'm a little iffy about it, but I think he had like a 15th place finish last week. He's starting 22nd. Are you gonna have any Suarez this week at 6,100?
Absolutely. I think the 99 car is legit. They ran very good last week, finishing 15th, and it's not like he lucked his way into the 15th. He was running inside the top 20 for the majority of the race last week. So I think that for tournaments, or even cash, I think Suarez is playable starting 22nd.
I don't hate it. And then I'll throw one more out there. Dave, Chris Buescher had a very good race last race, starting 18th, 6,400. What do you think about this one? Definitely more of a tournament play, but I do feel like there is some upside here with Buescher.
Oh, absolutely. And I love seeing Chris Buescher up there at front last week at Homestead leading some laps. Obviously I don't think I had any exposure to Chris Buescher in any of my lineups, but at a personal level, I like seeing Chris Buescher leading last week. I think he's got that potential, you know, for a top 15 again today at 6,400. You know, he's definitely someone to look at. You know, because I think, you know, he could luck himself into a top 12, top 10 finish. But I think top 15 for Chris Buescher today is not out of the realm of possibility.
Oh yeah. So I'll ask you this, Luke. So if you had to pick your favorite dominator, which guy do you think up top is going to dominate the most laps today?
It's a complete guessing game. I'm just admitting it. There's like 10 guys, in my opinion, that could dominate this race today. I can list them out, but I probably won't. But, I mean, if I had to pick, probably Harvick, just because he was great at the intermediates last season. But, again, that's a complete guess. It could be anyone up there. So,
Dave, how about you? Are you going with Harvick, or you like someone else that you think can dominate?
Like Luke said, I mean, obviously I'm going to play Harvick and cash, you know, because I think he's going to be over like 50, 60% owned. But like Luke said, there's so many dominator potentials here out of, there's like Truex, Chase, Logano, Brad. I can keep going on. Just like Luke said, we could name probably about 8 or 10 guys here that could potentially lead laps today. So I think this is a great slate. I think, even cash lineups, I think there's going to be like 2v2, 3v3s today. I think you basically start your lineup with Kevin Harvick and Ryan Blaney, and then you go from there. And then you could go a lot of different ways. So I love this slate in general because there's so many options.
Yeah, I agree. The slate's pretty awesome. I mean, you can build pretty much any lineup you want. I mean, I was having no trouble at all fitting in 2 guys up top, 3 guys up top. So the hard part is everybody up top has potential to dominate, really. I mean, is there anybody you're completely fading or having very, very little of up top? Dave?
Kyle. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, probably Kyle Busch.
Kyle Busch, yeah. So yeah. Luke, how about you, Kyle, or anybody else?
Kyle Busch. I think that there's like 10 guys that have more potential to dominate than Kyle, and he's the most expensive, so no reason.
So one more guy I do want to throw out there, and this is really interesting, Kyle Larson. So Luke, He's starting third, 9,400. Obviously a very talented driver. He's pretty solid here as well. I don't think the ownership will be all that high. Do you think he has potential to go out there and lead laps?
I think he can. I mean, Hendrick looked really good last week. He's starting third, so I think there's a chance that he could dominate early. I mean, he's only 90. I think, what is it, 9,200? 9,400.
Yep.
On DraftKings, but he ran good here in the 42 for Chip Ganassi Racing, which isn't as good as a team as Hendrick. So I could see Larson going out there and dominating. So I think he's a great play. I have a lot of exposure to him, so I like him.
Yeah, for me, it's really just spread out that exposure. I don't have much Kyle Busch, and just hopefully you find that right mixture of dominators up there. So we'll go down to this. So Dave, who is your favorite driver to win this race?
If I'm going to pick a favorite driver to win this race, it's probably going to be Harvick at 6-1. I know that's the top. He's on DK Sportsbook. He's tied with Truex for the best odds to win the race, and I'll probably take Harvick there to win the race. It's my favorite to win.
Okay, how about you, Luke? Favorite to win the race?
I'm not sure what his odds are, but I'll probably go with Joey Logano.
8-1.
8-1, okay. So he's won 2 of the last 4 Vegas races. Penske's ran good here in the past, so I think he has a good chance of winning this race. It's not Harvick.
Okay, I'm not sure what his odds are as well, but I'm going to take a shot on Kez for the win. He's won here 3 times.
Wait.
What is it?
Yeah. 8-1.
8-1. Yeah, I'm going to take a shot on Kez to win. He's won here 3 times. Let's get a 4th today. So, long shot to win. We'll start with you, Luke. Who is your long shot to win?
I'll go with Alex Bowman. I think he's been really good at the 1.5s, like I said. I think he could put himself in a position, especially if we get like a long green flag run at the end of the race. He almost won this race last year. Him and Ryan Blaney were battling it out at the end, but the late yellow forced them to pit roads, so that's why Logano won last year. So I think Bowman could be a sneaky option for the win today.
Yeah, Luke, you did steal mine there, but Dave, who do you like for the long shot to win?
I'm going to go way long shot here, and I'm going to show you just how much I love this guy today. Cole Custer, 66-1.
Okay.
There's something about it. I love those long odds, and the way that this season's played out with Byron and McDowell and who the heck was it? Christopher Bell winning. Why not? Let's just go crazy. Let's get some Custer at 66-1.
I like it. My long shot's going to be, don't know what his odds are, but Christopher Bell. Don't hate him. I think he has a good chance. We've seen him win before. Don't hate that there. So we'll get into some questions here. We have a thoughts on a single entry GPP here. We'll start with Luke. Keselowski, Truex, Almirola, Custer, LaJoie, and Eric Jones.
Okay, I think it has 2 dominators. It has some place differential. I think that's a good lineup.
Yeah, I think it's well constructed there. Keselowski, Truex looks good to me. So Dave, James Durkin says, "Hey Dave, I miss you."
Okay.
So James Durkin also says, "Made a Penske stack." Hendrick
okay,
stack.
there we go. Let's say, was there more? Tell me there was more.
And a JDR stack worked out last year for me, or am I crazy? So is he crazy for making stacking these teams up a JDR stack or a Hendrick stack?
I don't think so. I mean, stacks typically work more at super speedways than they do at like 1.5s, but I don't mind doing like a Ford stack, something like that, over a team stack. I would rather go, doing something like, Custer and mix it in like a Penske and Stewart Haas lineup than doing just a team stack.
Okay, so guys, any more questions in the chat, type them out now, but for now we're going to give our final thoughts on the race as a whole. So Luke, what are your final thoughts on this race? Any final thoughts, anything you want to say?
It's going to be interesting seeing lineups today, just because there's so many guys that are playable. We have no idea who's going to lead, so I'm interested to see how this race plays out, and hopefully one of us get a takedown.
I hope so. So Dave, how about you? Final thoughts?
Yeah, I'm the same as Luke. Like I've said, I really like this slate. Probably one of the last full races I'll watch as weather's getting warmer live. I'm gonna probably start doing some stuff outside and whatnot around the house and whatnot. So I'm looking forward to watching this race live and seeing what late caution ruins my day, like it always does. Like Luke and I were talking yesterday in the Discord with Xfinity. It's like, yep, one of these cautions is going to mess up our lineup. So how is it going to work this week? It always happens. At no point does it ever benefit you. It always hurts you.
Yeah, so I know you're not really supposed to check your lineups in NASCAR until it's over. And, I'm one of those guys that I got to check. And, 2 races ago, I was sitting in first place with like 4 laps to go. And then Kurt Busch drives into the grass out of nowhere. I don't know if you guys remember that from first place. I went from first, finished like 9th place, but still it kind of sucked there. But it happens. It's NASCAR. Oh, yeah. You're going to be winning up until something happens. Something's always going to happen, but hopefully nothing happens today. So
right.
Yep. So So final thoughts for me. I think it's a fun slate as well. Like you guys said, I think there's a ton of potential dominators. I think lineup construction allows you to get a couple dominators in there, a couple plays up top. And hopefully make some money today. But I just want to remind you guys to like the video. It does help out a ton. And also subscribe to the channel as well. And be sure to sign up on dfskarma.com/shop for the NASCAR. There you get the final thoughts cheat sheet, the core plays and props, for access to all the NASCAR premium content. And of course, there is a free article on there. We have one more question before we get out of here. Who are the guys you like better than LaJoy at that price range? We'll start with Dave.
Oh, LaJoy at his price range. So let me pull that back up. There's Suarez and Alfredo. I think you could throw Priest in there as a GPP play. Those are like the 3 guys. Other than that, I probably am not touching anyone else down there.
Yeah. Luke, anybody else you like better than LaJoy?
Does it have to be cheaper than LaJoy? Does it say?
Yeah.
Yeah, around the
price
cheaper.
Range.
I was like, he didn't say Custer. I was like,
yeah.
Looking in that price range, it's basically Suarez, Priest, and Alfredo. I kind of prefer McDowell over LaJoy. I think he's been running really good this season. I think he could finish inside the top 10. I don't have much exposure to him, but I think McDowell has more upside than LaJoy today.
Yeah, I feel you there. So, all right, guys, we're going to head out of here. Thank you all for tuning in. See you guys next week at noon. And everybody, good luck on your race today. Hopefully we make some money. Good luck to you, Dave. Good luck to you, Luke. And see you guys next week.